So what's your name?
My name's Andrea Maldonado.
How was your day today?
It's not too bad. Had the day off from work, so just got to relax all day.
Can you tell me a little bit about your childhood?
I was born and raised in San Pedro, California. Both my parents are actually they're still together to this day. I'm the third oldest of 9 kids. Grew up down here in the Lowe's, San Pedro. My childhood was, to me, my childhood was normal. As I got older, looking back, it wasn't so great as I thought it was. My parents were drug addicts and alcoholics. My mom was a drug addict for as long as I could remember. But to me, my childhood was fun. We're the kids that got to stay out the latest. The kids that got to have everybody over. For the most part, I mean, like I said, I thought my childhood was great. But I didn't really know how deep into the drugs my family was, or my parents were, until we got taken to foster home when I was about 11. Um, that pretty much was when actually like the reality of everything hit. I think I was in and out of foster home like maybe two or three times actually. It didn't take my mom finally got off drugs like the third time around. But yeah, I enjoyed my childhood. I was into sports. I grew up a tomboy, so I was always playing with all the boys and everything. It actually got me teased a lot because I wasn't into the Barbies and everything. I was more into the sports, and I still am to this day. But overall, I think my childhood was decent. I mean, despite everything my family was going through, I enjoyed it.
What were your dreams as a child?
My dreams as a child, I honestly wanted to be a cop when I got older, but that didn't work out. uh, I either wanted to be like make it to the WNBA or a cop, but mainly a cop was my dream job. But life didn't really take it really didn't take its course that way.
Can you tell me about your general relationship with your dad and how that relationship felt?
Honestly, my relationship with my dad was, I didn't really have one. I didn't have one at all. He was very abusive when I was younger. He had a severe drinking problem, and I grew up watching him beat my mom and beat my older brother, and he would come home drunk a lot of the times. I I didn't I didn't have a relationship with him until maybe until I got off of drugs. I don't know. I didn't. He was there physically, but like he wasn't there mentally. Like, and I basically like he was there. He was in the picture, but like he didn't really support my mom like until like we were a lot older. But my relationship with him now is a lot better. I growing up, he didn't really show me affection. So like now that I'm older, he expected me to show him like affection, but I didn't know how to because I wasn't showed it as a kid. So he would like get mad about it, but it's like I can't show him something that I didn't receive, and I didn't know how to show him that, and it kind of like we argued a lot about it, and he would get mad, because he thought I didn't love him, but it wasn't that. It was just I didn't know how to express that kind of love with him. But today our relationship is great. I mean, being clean and sober off drugs, it kind of, put my life in a different perspective, and it's just I appreciate, him still sticking around. But yeah, our relationship is getting better. I actually could show him affection now, but before I think that was one of the biggest things I struggled with growing up.
What about your relationship with your mom and how that felt?
Oh, my mom's like, she's like my best friend. Like, she's literally like my rock. Even, despite everything she did, like she was like the best mother that I knew she could be, like, or that she knew she could be, despite her own struggles and everything. Like, she still made it happen. Like, a lot of my strength that I have is from her. Like, I seen her do like the impossible, like with just the bare minimum, you know, even despite her addiction problems and everything, like she still like made Christmas happen and, you know, had food on the table for us. And like I honestly wouldn't know what I would do without her. Like whenever I'm having a bad day, like she'll call me and she knows. She's like, what's going on? Even like I don't have to tell her. It's just like she knows. Like I wouldn't have gotten a lot through my struggles without her. Like when I was diagnosed with cancer, like she like was like the first person, you know, she sat with me through all my hospital stays, like even when she didn't have to, like, you know, like I there's just really no ways to describe like what she means to me. Like I when she's having a bad day, I could feel it. Like I know when something's not right with her. And it's just my relationship with her compared to my dad. Like I mean, I love my dad, but my mom, like it's a whole different type of love. Like she just like really holds this special place in my heart that like I can even like describe. Like she's like literally like my best friend.
How does that relationship feel? If you could describe just how does that feel for you?
I mean, it's overwhelming, honestly. Like I remember when I was going through my addiction, like that's like that's the one person that I hurt the most. Like, and I didn't realize it until I got clean. But she like, I remember one time I had went to jail, and I was sitting in the jail cell, and I don't know, something just like my mom, she knows something's not right. When I finally got a phone call, and I called her, and she was like, she's like, I knew it. I knew something was wrong. And I was sitting in that jail cell, and I said, Mom, like something, I was thinking in my head, like something's not right. Like, just know I'm not coming home tonight. And when I finally called her, like, she was like, I knew something was wrong. I could feel it in my heart. And like, that's just the type of relationship that we have. Like I know when something's off with her, and I know, you know, it's just, she's just my rock. Like, I wouldn't even be where I'm at today if like it wasn't for her love and like her guidance. And it was just joy when I think about her.
What did you learn from both of your parents?
Honestly, just perseverance. Despite, you know, the childhood that I had and the struggles that they went through, and you know, they're still together like 38 years later. And I mean, I know their relationship's not perfect, and I know, you know, but just perseverance. Like they pushed through a lot of the, you know, that the world threw against them. Like even some parts of, like some families were saying, like, you know, like her kids are gonna grow up and be drug addicts and high school dropouts. We're gonna be all pregnant. Like my youngest brother like just turned 18, and he's the last one to graduate high school. Like, so it's like, it's just, they just showed me how to be strong, like to push through, like never give up on myself. And I mean, that's something I'm always going to be grateful for. Like we've been through a lot as a family, and they're still, you know, they're still there for us. Like regardless of how old we are, like they just show me how to just keep pushing.
Can you tell me about your first love?
Oh my Lord. My first, honestly, my first love, I think the other, my previous relationships were more like infatuation. I mean, I guess that's what I thought love was at that time in my life. But my first actual love that affected me both negatively and positively was when I was like, I had met him when I was 21. And I don't think I've ever felt like that towards anybody. It still kind of affects me to this day. But that relationship in general is like probably the most toxic relationship that I've ever been in my life. A lot of my drug addiction started because of that. It literally broke me down as a person. I started doing drugs to numb how I felt because the relationship was that bad. But like, on all honesty, it's still like I'm still like madly in love with this guy, and it sucks because like I've been clean off drugs for 4 years, and I thought I was over with that, and it's like he came back into my life when I was like 9 months sober, and I just felt myself going backwards after all the work that I've done. And it still hurts, but like I know I made it this far, and I know God didn't bring me this far to just leave me. But that relationship, that's probably the one time I could say that I've been like the first time I've actually loved somebody, and it hurt. It still hurts, but you know, life is too short for me to just dwell on it and just push myself through it.
And you said you're still in love with this same person,
Yeah.
and you also said that so when you fell in love, was it already toxic, or did you fall in love first and then the toxicity came?
I fell in love first, and then the toxicity came. I was blind to a lot of the reality of it. Like, I've heard so much negative things, you know, from other people about it, and then I like to give people the benefit of the doubt, and it just sucks when you actually see the proof of it. But then, like, you know, I always see the good in people, whether, like, you know, I see otherwise. I mean, somebody tells me otherwise, but I honestly don't know why this relationship in general is like the hardest to get over. And like, my sponsor is telling me like to write about it, and it's like I make progress, and then here he comes again. Like, I mean, he's just honestly, like, this love like really put me like into like narcissistic abuse and like psychology stuff, like, and I mean, I'm grateful because I know what I don't deserve, and I know like it's not love, but in my heart it's love, because I mean, I gave my all to this situation, and it's like for somebody to treat me the way he treated me, it like I just don't understand how somebody could claim they love somebody but like do so much harm to them, to like where like it just breaks them, like their spirit and everything. But I mean, it honestly taught me a lot about myself. It taught me a lot about what I won't settle for anymore, and everything's just a learning process for me now. And
You kind of know what to look for.
yeah, it's just I'd rather stay single than actually like settle for temporary feelings. Or it sucks because I actually want to get over this relationship, but it's in God's timing. I can't rush myself to get over something that actually was a big part of my life for 8+ years.
So I don't know if this question's connected to that same situation, but can you tell me about your first loss or heartbreak? It doesn't have to be relationship wise, it can be anything that you would consider your first heartbreak.
Honestly, I think it was in high school. We had a really good friend that passed away. I think it was my 12th grade year or 11th grade. I think that's the first time that I've actually felt like sadness, like about losing somebody. It was just besides when my grandma passed away, but I didn't, for me, for a long time, it was hard for me to like show my emotion, like when it came to death. But like this specific situation in high school when he had got killed, that really like was like the first time I've actually felt like my emotions over like death. It still affects me to this day, but like, I mean, that's the first time I've actually felt like, because I was supposed to be there at that party, and for some reason my mom told me I couldn't go. A lot of my friends that we were supposed to go to this party, we were all supposed to go. My friend got into it with her mom. She couldn't go. My mom didn't let me go because she was going to a Halloween party with her friend, so I had to babysit. And I was mad at her for that. Then the next morning, I found out all this stuff happened, and I was mad at her because I couldn't go, but at the same time, like, I wouldn't knew what would happen if I did go. But like, that's the first time I actually like felt like I lost like somebody important to me.
How do you deal with that now?
Honestly, like, it's probably wrong, but like, I laugh about a lot of stuff, and I think that's just my defense mechanism and just how I deal with my emotions. I cried so much like when I was in my addiction, that like when I got sober, it was hard for me to like cry and stuff. And a lot of people was like, "No, you're just holding it in." And I'm like, I'm not. Like, to me, humor is what gets me through it. Like, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it works for me. And it's like, it's not that I'm laughing about, oh, that is funny to me, but that's just how I cope with a lot of things in life now as an adult. But I don't, it takes a lot for me to cry. And I think, I don't know if that, I don't know if that's like a bad thing, but that's just how I cope with like a lot of deaths. And like, I've lost so many people like recently that it's just, I don't cry. I just kind of find something just for me to like distract myself, like humor wise, or it's weird, it's sad to say, but I don't know, humor is just what gets me by.
Can you tell me who first taught you love and how?
um I would have to say my mom, but then my my nieces and nephews, just having my mom showed me love, the best that she could. um yeah, I don't. It took me a while to actually understand what love was, but I know my mom. She's the one that taught me about what real love is.
How would you say she taught you what real love is?
Just her being there. She was always there to listen. She never judged. She always wanted the best for me. Like I think there's no love like a mother's love. I It's just her, like, she's the one person I probably will cry to, like. And it's not always that I cry, but like she knows, like, she knows how to get me to cry. But I don't know, she just her affection and how she just gives more than she receives, and that's just, she's the most selfless person.
What's love to you? Has it always been the same? If it's changed, what is it compared to what it was to you as when you were younger to what love is to you now as an adult?
The love that I had as a child, I don't really remember that much as a child, because I was always in the streets. My mom was always doing her thing. My dad was always doing his thing. I just had my brothers and sisters love. There was 9 of us. My older brother he was already like in his teens, so he was pretty much out the house. But I don't really know, honestly. Love is still something it's a little iffy for me. I just know the love from my family and the close friends that I have. Going through my cancer, I just thought I was alone when I found out I had cancer, but I didn't realize how many people that actually love me, and that even people from college that I rarely speak to, like, they all showed up at the hospital and came to see me. And it's like, that's the type of love that I need in my life. Like, so it's just genuine, just selfless love. Like,
Can you tell me about just a good day for you?
me, a good day, just being with my family, honestly. Being around my nieces and nephews, that's always a good day, just to be with my family and a few close friends. That's pretty much my whole life right there, just family. That's always a good day.
Can you tell me about a bad day and how you pushed through it?
A bad day is a bad day for me is just, my bad days are when I feel my depression and my anxiety hitting, and then sometimes I feel like I don't know how to I don't know how to deal with it. But it's because how I dealt with things was to drink, to smoke, or to go get high. But now being sober, I have to feel those feelings, like, and sometimes I get really bad days where I don't even want to like talk to my family, and it sucks because like those are the ones that been there for me the most. But like when my depression hits really hard sometimes, or when I start dealing with things with my ex-boyfriend, and it's like like I want to go drink and I want to go smoke, but I have to feel those feelings. So I just pray about it. I'll play a game on my phone or I'll watch TV, and I end up calling my mom because she's the one that will give me the feedback. As much as she hates my ex, she's the first one to listen to me. So sometimes I get embarrassed because I don't like talking about it. I should be over it by now, but like healing doesn't have a time limit, and I try to call my sponsor when I'm having a bad day. It's just some days they're a little overwhelming, but I just try to distract myself playing video games or something.
What's a person or an event that's shaped you, good or
Um, the person or event that changed. I would say when I got clean from drugs. I was heavy on meth for maybe like 6+ years. I hit rock bottom. I had nowhere to go. I was on the streets. My mom stopped enabling me, and I just felt like she didn't love me anymore. And I felt like my family were just judging me. They didn't understand why I was doing what I was doing, but I just wanted them to know that I'm a person. Like, like I just felt all they did was judge me. But like I remember like the last couple of days before I had entered rehab, my mom, like somebody ran and told my mom that somebody was looking for me with a gun. And I remember like I seen the look in her face, and I was like, I had started going to church like maybe like a couple of weeks before that, and I thought that was gonna help me get off drugs. So I got baptized, and then I was going to church regularly. It didn't help because I was still getting high in the bathroom at church. So I'm like, this isn't it. So I came back to Pedro, and I was running the streets again, and my mom kicked me out. She called the cops on me, and I just took off. So I remember when I I was sitting at the pastor and his wife's house, and I was like, for some reason, I just stopped. I just kept crying. Like, I was so emotional. I was sitting at church, and my mom came to the last service, and she left, and I was like, I never cried so much in my life. And that day, I never like wanted to be around her so much than I did that day. And I remember I entered rehab on July 1st, 2016, and that's like the best decision I could have ever done. Like, the joy I see in my mom's face, like, that just made everything like worth it. Like, it was hard for being in there for 6 months with a bunch of women, but 4 years later, like, I'm still here, and there's plenty of times I wanted to relapse, but I remember when on June 28th, 2020 is when I hit my 4 years, and my mom like came up to me. She's like, "This is like the best 4 years you could have ever gave me," and like I couldn't do that. Like, this is probably
your mom's sober now as well?
Yeah, she's been sober for 19 years. So it's like I couldn't. That's just, I'm grateful for the person I am today, and I'm grateful that I had to go through that to get to where I'm at, and that's probably the most the most joyful thing I could have ever done for myself.
What's inspired you?
Honestly, my mom, she's like my hero. I've seen her raise 9 kids. Like, I mean, we all went our different routes in life. Me and my older brother went to drugs, and she's just seen her. Nobody gets 8 kids out of foster home. Nobody does that. Like, like, it took her a couple of times, but like, I remember there's some foster parents that are like, your mom's not gonna come back for you guys. Like, you might as well just get comfortable in here. And it's like, I fought a lot as a kid because I was teased a lot, and for them to tell me that I would get in trouble a lot because I would get angry, but she did it. I seen her push through everything that was thrown in her way, and she's still pushing.
What's been a humbling experience for you? Can you talk about how that humbling experience felt?
Honestly, when I was diagnosed with stage 3 rectal cancer in 2018, I was like 2 years sober, and I was going to mental health to find some type of balance between my brain and my emotions after I got sober. I Yeah, that it humbled me a lot because it showed me that life happens and life shows up, and if I wasn't sober, I wouldn't have found out I had cancer. And to me, like, I think God just was putting me through all these things just to show me how strong I am as a person. And I fought my whole cancer battle sober. I didn't have to use, and I didn't have to pick up, and it humbled me a lot because I still worked full time. The whole time I was doing my chemo, my radiation, I still worked 40 hours a week, and it just humbled me as a person. It just helped me grow. It just showed me how to live my life to the fullest, and just stop taking things for granted. It's just, you never know what's gonna happen.
Go in your mind and think. This life event can be mental, physical, or spiritual. Tell me about a time in your life that you can relate with the word war.
War. It had to be when I was out there getting loaded, doing drugs. That felt like a war in itself. Like, you're battling this disease in your head, all these different emotions, and like the only thing that you're just chasing something that's not there, but it's like you need that something just to get by to the next day, and it just became insanity. That's probably, besides the cancer, that's probably the war that I fought, like, all the time. How I'm gonna get this, how I'm gonna get that. And thank God I didn't have to sell my body or anything like that. I did tattoos, and that kind of kept me, that kept the drugs coming in, and I didn't have to resort to doing other stuff that I would have regretted. But yeah, my drug addiction felt like a war in itself. It was, yeah.
How did it feel when quote unquote, when you're in recovery, you're always in recovery. It never ends. How do you feel now that you're not actively like in that daily war? How does it feel to be out of that daily war now?
I feel more peaceful. But your disease is well and active no matter what. I just try not to feed into that. It's hard, but I'm more at peace with myself. I know my family's more at peace, that they know where I'm at and they know that I'm safe. Yeah, I feel more at peace with myself than I did then.
Same question. Go in your mind and think. This life event can be mental, physical, or spiritual. Can you tell me about a time in your life that you can relate with the word peace?
Peace. My life now, I mean, it's still chaotic in some ways, but overall, like, I'm satisfied with where I'm at. I try not to be content, because I need to keep busy, but my life now is the most peaceful it's ever been. I think for so long I lived in chaos that I was actually used to it. So when I actually was calm, something felt weird because I wasn't used to it. But now I just try to enjoy it. Yeah, I've about 26 years of chaos. So now, like, the last 4 years, it's been peaceful for myself, at least.
How did so during the first months of recovery and all those things, and going longer into your recovery, how did that peace feeling? How did you deal with that? Because it's something you hadn't felt before. So one, how did you know that was even peace, and then how did you deal with it?
It felt foreign at first. I didn't know how to act. it just it just felt weird because I was always on the go. So when I actually had time, my first month of recovery, I couldn't go nowhere. I couldn't do nothing. So it's like I had to sit with myself, and I had to get used to, you know, just taking it slow. But yeah, it was it was
letting yourself enjoy the peace. How
yeah.
do you do that?
It honestly, I just I just sat with myself. I just had to learn how to live with Drea, and it it was weird at first. It was really weird. I didn't know how to act.
Have you gotten used to that feeling now, and you're okay with?
Honestly, yes. Or after work, being at work all day and then getting home, it's like I enjoy it. I really do.
Can you tell me about a truly difficult time in your life? How that felt and how you endured through that?
Um, Most difficult time in my life. Um, it just honestly just probably had to be my drug addiction. I didn't just a lot of my addiction, like I said, had to do with the relationship that I went through. It really broke me down as a person. I wanted to kill myself. I probably tried to commit suicide a few times, but it never worked. I was in and out of the psych ward, and this relationship just really like I lost my self esteem. It broke my soul, like everything. Um, that's probably the most tragic thing that I felt like, and it was like I was mourning somebody that wasn't even dead. I was mourning something that wasn't what I thought was real. In reality, wasn't real. Um, I tried to numb myself with anything and everything, and it just started with weed and alcohol, and then it progressed to coke, and then it progressed to meth, and I found something that helped me escape my own thoughts and my own feelings. And I didn't feel any of those feelings for 4 years. Like I didn't talk to this person for 4 years, and I thought I was living life, but deep down I was like losing who I was, like little by little. And it's sad to say after going through cancer that was the most tragic thing that I went through. But I would sometimes I would cry to my friends and I'd tell them I'll fight cancer all over again if it would just take away how I felt about this person. And like nobody, like everybody's like, just get over it, and it's like I don't know how to, or else I would have been over it. But like that's probably the most tragic thing that I've ever felt. Like, and I'm ashamed because I let somebody break me down that bad. But at the same time, like I have to be grateful because I wouldn't be sitting here right now, and I wouldn't have been off drugs, like if I didn't want something better for myself. And I know what I want now, and it's not that.
Can you tell me about a truly joyous moment in your life and how that felt?
Honestly, when my niece was born, I have a lot of nieces and nephews, but this niece in particular, like she's like my splitting image twin. Like my sister must have hated me a lot when she was pregnant with her because she's like a mini version of me. She acts just like me, and it's like I was like 4 months sober when my mom told me that my sister was pregnant. And when she was finally born, like that's like the first niece that I was able to be there for, like not on drugs and not all messed up in the head. Like she's like the first niece that got to see me clean and sober and like, you know, who I'm meant to be. And this, like, that's one of the joyous moments I had when my niece was born. And she has a little attitude, but she's yeah, she makes my saddest days like completely different. Like that, I would just say that's my most joyous time since I've been clean. Like I love all my nieces and nephews dearly, but she's just really special.
What keeps you up at night?
Um, Honestly, it's probably my depression sometimes. I kind of weaned myself off of my meds. They weren't really doing anything for me, and I didn't want to take the chances of them messing up my organs and them not being effective. So I kind of just take it head on now. But sometimes it gets to where I can't sleep. It's just thinking about my ex relationship, and like it just it really bothers me.
So how do you go to sleep?
Oh, I sleep now, but I sleep now for sure. If I didn't, honestly, if I was not working, I would have probably be insane, because like my job keeps me like super busy, so like it tires me out. So by the time I get home, it's like I get up for work at 4 a.m. every day. So by the time like 9 o'clock hits, like I'm probably sound like an old granny, but I'm I'm already in bed before 9:30. But for the most part, like I sleep. I don't let it affect me like that anymore. I the only thing honestly I can do is just keep praying. Just keep praying, because that's honestly what's really been helping me. That's just been my go-to.
What keeps you going every day?
Mm, God. That's I was never really a religious person, but I just look back what I've been through in these last 4.5 years, and it's all I can say is God. Because there's some days I do not feel like getting up, and it's just like I'm grateful that He wakes me up every day, and I'm grateful that He gives me the strength to actually, push through my hardest days. And it may seem minimal, but to me, like I just have to give all credit to Him. That's honestly where my strength comes from.
Imagine you're in the hospital today with only hours to live. What would be your regrets?
Honestly, none. I have no regrets. If I didn't go through everything that I went through from childhood to till now, I wouldn't be who I am. I mean, a lot of people tell me like you're an inspiration. I don't know how you did what you did, but I was like, honestly, I wasn't given a choice. It was either life or death. The same thing with drug addiction. It was life or death. Like like you said, it was like I could sit and mope around and keep complaining about why is God doing this to me, or I can get up and make a change. But honestly, I don't have no regrets. It just really shaped me into the person I am today.
You told me what your dreams were as a kid. What are your dreams now?
Honestly, I want to I still want to do like detective stuff, but that's always like homicide detective's been like my go-to. But honestly, now I really just want to like give back. I want to, after everything I've been through, I just want people to know, like, just don't give up. Like, if I could be cancer and drug addiction in one lifetime, just give people hope. Like, for me, I get camera shy too. It's hard for me to public speak, but just hopefully maybe one day be a motivational speaker, maybe after I conquer these fears. But yeah, I just want to make a difference. I just want to make a difference in the world. Like, someday, a lot of people tell me I do, but I mean, my life is just minimal compared to, bigger things. But hopefully my dreams just to inspire people.
You're the author of your life book. What's your picture perfect ending?
Just oh no, going out with a bang, I guess.
What's the bang? I want to see the bang. What's the going out with the bang look like?
Honestly, I don't know. I just want to be successful. I just want, my family to be successful. I just want to see everybody make it. Like my close friends, just be successful. That's my no matter what it is, I just want to really be successful. Yeah.
That's it.
I got through it.
Through it.